So welcome everyone, and very glad that you could join us today. My name is Paula Newcomb, and I'm the Northeast Regional Coordinator of the Indiana State Library's Professional Development Office. I will be the host and question moderator for today's webinar, Inspire and New Interfaces from EBSCO. If you have questions during the webinar, please feel free to put them in the chat. We will try to answer them as we go along. So today's presenter is Lisa Jones, and she's a trainer from EBSCO. So after this webinar has been transcribed, it will be available on the Indiana State Library's archive webinars page. If you're watching an archive recording of this presentation, information on how to obtain your LEU is in the video's description in YouTube. For weekly updates on upcoming trainings and to learn more about what's happening in libraries across the state, please subscribe to the Indiana State Library's e-newsletter, The Wednesday Word, and check out our continuing education website for other professional development opportunities. So let's get started. Again, I'll start with the reminder in the chat. Make sure you change it from hosts and panelists to everyone. So now I will hand the presentation over to Lisa.
Okay, thanks, Paula. Thanks for inviting me. Hi, nice to see everyone again that has been to previous sessions of mine. I'm working out of my home in New Orleans, and I just did have a little blip from you, Paula. So please let me know if you're getting any kind of network issues. Hopefully that's not going to happen. Hopefully that was on Paula's end and not mine. But we are going to cover a lot today, and this is what we're covering. So what's changed and why with your EBSCO resources? This specifically is focusing on accessing your resources through the Inspire website, but I did see a lot of academic universities that are joined today, a lot of public libraries and school libraries. So that if you have your own websites going into your resources, there's a little bit of a difference happening with academics versus schools and K-12s and publics. So let's first just talk about what's happening on and what happened on the Inspire website. Basically, everything was updated last week. And when I say everything, I mean the majority of everything. That means that search box, the Inspire search, that is now using a brand new interface. Remember, the search box on your Inspire website is searching many online resources, even, all your EBSCO resources plus resources outside of EBSCO. So we're going to start with that and do a couple searches in there and talk about how, what the new interface kind of brings you, the enhancement it brings you. Then we'll look at EBSCOhost. EBSCOhost is the interface that you use to search one or more databases. So on the A to Z database page, when you search academic search or master file, or choose one EBSCO database or more, you're using EBSCOhost to use that. That's also been updated. You should be a little more familiar with the updated interface from Explora, because I believe that's been updated for a while for you. And Explora is taking a bigger chunk. Just that brand of Explora is really taking over a bigger chunk of your other interfaces. And what I mean by that is we're now using the branding or the word Explora for those reference centers, okay? So we've always had Explora, and we've always been using Explora for more of the audience specific. So audience specific, the way you're using it is you have an entry point into K4, an entry point into 5.8, entry point into 9.12, and then an entry point into adult. So what that means is one click and you're searching only specific resources for that audience, and the audience doesn't need to choose it for themselves. They just need to click on the Explora that's covering them, covering that audience, and they will get the resources that cover that audience too. Now we're moving over. So if you're used to using your legal information reference center or history reference center, science reference center, small business reference center, all of those now are being searched in their own interface, but it's rebranded Explora. We'll look at that. It's not that hard, but you're still searching specialized subject of, whatever you clicked on, but it's just using that updated interface that's branded Explora. And then there's a few that are still not updated yet. So Biography Reference Center, Literary Reference Center, Points of View Reference Center, the new user interface for those will be coming later this year. And so you'll soon see that everything through EBSCO that you use will be using that same user interface. So if you do have your own links and you're saying, well, wait a minute, Lisa, what's happening? Do I need to change my A to Z database page? Do I need to do any of that? Anything that's changed on EBSCO's side, redirects will take place. So if I'm a public library and I have a lot of, I'm a big public library, I have my own web page, I have my own A to Z database page, those links will redirect to your new user interfaces. Reports and statistics, if you're gathering your own, nothing will change with that. You won't be losing any reports or statistics. And then a lot of documentation is on Connect. And I want to actually stop here on this page too, because I do want to make a note. Any academic libraries that are here, I saw Purdue, I saw a few more, your interfaces for your websites, are most likely not going to be new, because the academic environment is more of an opt-in. Okay, so we can talk a little bit more about that offline if you want, because I really just want to focus on what's happening through your Inspire website. And then if you have any differences, you can let me know, or any detailed questions, please go ahead and put those in the chat, or we can wait until after, until offline to talk later. So what's happening? EBSCO just redid all of their new interfaces. Why did we do that? Well, we needed to modernize them. We needed to use, the modern web standards to include helping them be responsive, to include accessibility, which is a huge kind of driving point for this, and internationalization too. So speaking of accessibility, lots of changes and lots of really easy ways for users that have these needs to get access to them. So the responsive interface, transcripts for videos, the text-to-speech feature now works for PDF and the text formats. So remember that in the classic interfaces, we never had a text-to-speech for PDF, and now we do. So you can see, I'm not going to read all of this, but lots of accessibility features are built into the design by design. All right. Not only are we reviewing and redoing all of our searching interfaces, we redid all of the viewers too, so that they're all brand new. The text viewer, the PDF viewer, the ebook, EPUB viewer, all have been redone so that they're responsive and accessible. Yeah, sure, I can share these slides. So, because we're redoing everything, we're adding new things too a lot easier than in the past. So if you notice for citation management, there's new formats coming, and the formats that are there, let's say like the MLA 9th edition, when there is a new edition, we will definitely be quickly updating that edition. So because we've redone it all, we can quickly then manage that better. And then I just want to highlight the last bullet point on this slide. MS Word is a brand new way to be able to export your data out of the system. So if you're using those export tools, that was something that we were, been asked about, and then now we're able to add it in. So we're ready to go to the live demo. And I did want to start just kind of highlight here. This is what's for sure has changed to everything that I talked about being new. And if you're a public library, and if you have your own A to Z web page, your EBSCO host searching individual databases should also be new, along with if you're a K-12 library and you have your own web page, all of those things should be pointing to new too. So everything that I show you today should be the same on your websites, even if you're not going through the Inspire website, okay? So I have this backdoor way. And what I want to do first is I want to just do one search within, or a couple searches within your Inspire search. And let's do that when I go in the back door here.
Can I ask a question before you head out? Back to the translate.
Sure.
Someone asked, is there a translate feature to change the language for non-English readers, speakers?
So the translate and the read speaker are more like a or, right? So if you say you're either going to translate it and then you're going to have, then the read speaker is not going to be natively available anymore, because the read speaker is only available in English. But for those, I know there's, outside resources that will do that, Chrome plugins or other browser plugins, but not natively. Hopefully that answers the question. Once it's translated, no read speaker available. Clear. All right. I just jumped into your Inspire search, and I'm just going to do a search and then we'll start talking about the screen. Okay. So my search, I just have some simple searches here. My search is going to be cybersecurity. And you can notice that when I start doing a search, it shows me some popular terms, but then it also shows me some publication titles. These could be ebook titles, or they could be journal titles, magazine titles, that the library or, that Inspire owns either through databases or other resources. So let me just go ahead and continue with my word. I'm going to do a keyword search, cybersecurity. And I know I'm searching a lot of resources because I'm using Inspire, which has a lot of different, databases available. So number one, in my Inspire search, I have a couple things going on at the top, and then I have a result list. I have some dashboard options over here, which dashboard is just the new word for the folder for the EBSCO account or the EBSCO folder. So, this is also an opt-in. If users need to save something for later, they're going to sign in like they do now, or like they did now in the classic versions. This is an opt-in. It's not a forced thing. If I do want to save items for later, I can. And if I've already created an account, let's say I created an account a month ago to prepare for fall, it's going to work. So I'm just going to go ahead and sign in, and that account is going to work. So any previous folder account or EBSCO account that you created in any EBSCO interface will work here. If you've never done it before and you want to make a new one, you're just going to go to create an account and then create, and I would call this the EBSCO cloud, right? And then I can also, save, like projects are going to be where I organize my items that I've saved. Here's the items that I've saved, searches that I've saved, not searches that I've chosen to save. And then what I viewed along with holds and checkouts. And I think, so we can go down. So then on research tools, I see I have general search and Inspire. So the logo or the general search will clear out everything and bring me back to the home page. Publications, if I want to do a title level search, remember this is a keyword search, I can use this tool to do that. We'll look at that. We'll look at concept map. Supplemental sources are just going to be extra sources, extra links that are available going out to additional resources. So there's Learning Express or newspapers.com, Rosetta, and so on. That was under supplemental sources. And then you have your navigation links going back to the library, back to state pages, and so on. So let's go back. I'm going to be bad and just use the back button here. And let's do my search. So you may be asking, well, where are all those filters that used to be available, right? So here they are. I have quick filters that are here, or I have all of the full filters. So my full filters are then now available, and I can see that I have a full date range filter. I have my, where my items are coming from. So I see databases here that I can filter by database. It's showing me I have 50 more. I have my source type filter, which we're used to seeing. So maybe I want to filter by magazine or ebooks. And then I have my subject filter too, which is going to help me to narrow down. And subject really, besides all those others, maybe I do want only a certain type of material or a certain date range. But if you don't really need any of those, or just want to kind of know what's the latest information, your subject filter is going to be your go-to filter, because that's going to help you then narrow down. So this is a narrower. And it's going to help me to narrow down my topic. So maybe I want to make sure that cyber terrorism is included in these results, and computer crimes. And I'm narrowing. So as soon as I apply a few of those filters, I can then do that, apply them. It shows me that I have, and then it's narrowing down my list. So I want to take a break for a second and see if there's any questions, Paula.
Not so far. I think the things that they've asked, I've been able to answer.
Okay. All right. So if you notice, there can be sometimes a publication link telling you that I have an exact title that's called what I'm searching. You also may find a research starter. Research starters, just to remind you, they're starting points of research. They're citable starting points of research. But as I want to go down, maybe I just want to review what I have on the screen. So I have some articles. And actually, I'm going to go back. I want to just kind of remove those filters. Let's remove those two, because I want to show you the full list where we did have some ebooks. So I have an ebook, and then I have the same thing, information about the ebook, my access point. So there's my EPUB or my PDF that I have available. Remember, EPUB, you have a lot of ebooks in your collections, and EPUB is more of that flowable text. So if I am using this or helping a user to gain access to this, and they're using a mobile device, either a phone or a tablet, the EPUB is going to be more of the flowable text. I prefer that reading on a tablet or a mobile device. PDF is just, what you think it is. So I have those options. I also have some new options that are brought to the front of the result list. Number one, here I can save searches if I want. If I want to save for later, besides this one session, I will need to be signed all the way in. But in here, I can quickly grab the citation tool. I can quickly share this. So maybe I want to quickly email it to myself, or I want to share it to one of the other cloud devices that I have, maybe my Microsoft OneDrive, or maybe one of my Google Cloud services. Or I want to grab that permalink for it. So those things are brought out, used to only be available when you clicked all the way in. Now those tools are brought out and available for you. Also the download. So if I'm downloading metadata, because this is an ebook, the option is to metadata only. If it was a PDF document, I would have the option to download the full PDF right from the result list. Any questions, please ask.
Yes, we do have. How do you export the citation to EndNote?
So if you're looking here, so let's just say I have this ebook and I want this. And I think, wait a minute, let me go to an article. Let's see. So from my source type, I'll go ahead and just say that I want to, I'll filter it by magazine instead of journal. Maybe I just want some more popular reading materials. So I have some different magazines here. Here's something from Harvard Business Review. And let's see what we have options here. So if I share, or I have the option to download. And then it's going to be, let me see. I'm looking for that export too, because there's definitely options for that. Maybe that might only be available. I thought it was available here in the share, right? Let's look at a few other, and I might look at an HTML and see if I have that option there. I know it's there, and I know there's multiple options to export. Here it is. Oh, okay. You can see even I'm learning it. So under the citation area, and this would have been available from the front too. So under this site, here is where I have my options to export the citation, and there's my EndNote, you know, directly to EndNote, or in any of my, if I'm using the RIS format. Thanks, George. George is like helping me too. It takes a village. So if you look around enough, you'll find it like me, but it is under site. But while I'm in here, I'll go ahead and show you. So I did click right into the PDF. So I have it available. Here's the article. I can read it here. And then just like on the result list, I have these options here. The save for later, you know, the cite or export option. Here's the add to project if I did want to kind of focus and have this saved. There's my share, there's my print, here's my download. A lot of these are just like going to be downloading to my device here, but here is then that listen option, right? So that's new, that listen option in the PDF, and you'll have that same listen option when you're in the text version. So you'll see that then the options are here. Let me go back. So in the filters themselves, if I did want to make a date range, let's go ahead and do that, past 12 months. Remember, these are quick filters. I only see a few source types. I've already filtered by magazine. If I go into the full filters, I'm going to see them all. So I think there's some extra things here. Because you're in your Inspire search, I have the chat option, which is, you know, you should be used to there, the chat option. I also have, I might have some additional options down here. I have my related videos down here, which are kind of, you're used to seeing those more at the top. And then let's go ahead and do a concept map search. So the concept map is something that EBSCO has developed, and it really is more for the visual searcher. And again, it is an opt-in. Users aren't forced to use this, but if you have the need to use this in your library instruction, or if you would like to direct users to use this, you can. So first, let's see what happens when I put, and I'll actually change. Let me go ahead. Remember I said if you click here or here, you're clearing things out. So let me just clear general search, and I'm going back to this. So if I do this DNA, that is a lot of things are going on there, right? So I am going to have a lot of results, and then I have a lot of filters. But what happens if I pulled up my concept map? So first of all, if I have something in the search box, the concept map is going to then take that search term and bring it over. And what the concept map does is it wants the user to start with the known subject. It also wants the user to kind of think about, well, if there's a lot of known subjects or, you know, around my topic, really, it's going to stop you at this disambiguation screen, and it's going to say, what do you really want to know about DNA? If you just want the general DNA, then we're going to start with that. But why don't you go ahead and scroll down here? And are you looking for specifically maybe DNA fingerprinting or footprinting or something else, right? Repair, replication. If I said, well, I'm really looking for sequencing, that's what I want. Now it's going to say, okay, I know that subject, and I'm going to take you to find more information about what's surrounding that subject. So into this grid is more accessible. See, they have things that are semantically related. So the Genome Project and sequencing and But if I look at the map view, for me, this is more of a visual. And if I don't need that accessibility for the grid, I like this view because this really shows me my middle search is DNA sequencing, my main, and then what is around it. So what this really wants to do is it wants to help the user to build their search. So let's say if I hover over here, click, it's going to tell me how it's related. It's going to tell me information about it. And then I can either explore this topic, which will give me a whole new concept map, or I can start to build my search. And what this is doing, I'll go ahead and get rid of that. And then let's just look at this one. And I'll add that one to my search too. I think my screen is too big. That's why it's kind of hiding that. But you can see it's taking those subjects and it's saying whole genome sequencing plus molecular genetics, and it's putting the Boolean in between. So I'm going to keep it at an and. As soon as I go back, I can see my preview here down below, some of my articles that I might find. But if I go back to full results, it takes me back to Inspire, and then it's done my search for me. It's taken these keywords, and it's really then helping me to narrow my thoughts. Paula, did you want me to answer the question about the chat questions, or what questions did you need me to answer? Anything?
I don't think so right now. We've got some questions from our staff at the Indiana State Library and I think some of the information went out to everyone, but basically, if you work at the Indiana State Library, we'll let you know later what to do.
Okay.
Thanks.
Okay, yeah. So you can see again, concept map is something that you should not ignore. You should, you know, kind of play around with this. There's help topics on this. There's like a 2-minute video for an intro to how to use this. So it's just another addition and another way to help users to get better search terms so that then they can get better results. All right. I want to exit out of here. Anyone else have any other questions about the Inspire search? You can go ahead and put that in the search, or put that in the chat. We can go back and search this. But what I really want to do is go on and show you your EBSCOhost and then one of the your reference centers that is all new. But really, once I'm going to go over here. Let's see if I've broken this yet. So now, once we looked at the Inspire search, we can already see that they're all very close. So they look very much alike. And that's the same as the searching, the classic search interfaces. They all have the same, a lot of the same functionality. You're just searching different things in the background. So this one is my EBSCOhost search. The default is I'm searching all the databases. So remember, this is just all the EBSCO resources. Your Inspire search was searching everything, open access resources, plus other vendor resources that Inspire has access to. But typically on your A to Z page, if I click academic search or master file, I'm getting EBSCOhost. So let's uncheck all of these and let's just check master file. So usually you're searching one database in EBSCOhost, and my search term today for master file is going to be change management. I'm going to grab that. And I remember I'm searching one database, but I still have different source types. So I'm going to go ahead and filter that by magazines really quickly. If I didn't see the source type I wanted to filter it by, I'm going to go into all filters and look at the source types. So change management, I've filtered by magazines, and now I can kind of go. Also want to make sure that everything is going to be new within the last year. So there's some information here. And I have my access to the PDF. if I only have one, I have my link here. If I have two options to access, then I can access either the text version or the PDF version here. And let's go ahead and go into one of these text versions. I already showed you the PDF. Let's look at the online full text, which is kind of changed from the HTML. So here's that text reader. I have this option here to translate. So we didn't have that in the PDF, right? Here's the languages that I have to choose. Now, remember what I said, as soon as I choose to translate, then this option of listen will go away. All right. So there's my option here. Same results here. Table of contents is a little new because it's in that text version where I might actually have one. I also have my citation, ability to add it to my folder or specifically to a project within my my dashboard area, ability to share and so on. So back to here. So searching one database is you're having the same results here. You don't have access to that concept map. In your Inspire search, you do have additional things like the chat and the concept map, and then the placards, you know, those top placards that you had available to you. In here, you're basically just looking for the full text, accessing the full text, using your filters, and then moving on.
Lisa, would you be able to go back to where you started that search from? How did you get to all of the databases?
Well, so so from Inspire, if I clicked on any of these individual databases, I will get that one individual database. And I don't think you have, the way I got into it, I don't think you have an all setting, but I think all you would have to do is look at your content provider. I'm wondering, I guess it's not there anymore.
Yeah, we sometimes see things differently on our Inspire versus what Lisa sees. And I think we used to see that something like what you showed a little bit ago.
All.
Yeah.
Yeah, and sometimes it just depends on if you have like an EBSCO search all. And that is something that we can, you know, and can create if you'd like. But for a lot of you, you might also have a EBSCOhost search all, but most likely you're going to have the EBSCOhost search one. So sorry about that. Yeah, because I went in kind of that backdoor way. The one thing with EBSCOhost, and pretty much the one thing in Discovery 2 or in your Inspire search 2, is that the advanced search page is a little slim. So this is what EBSCO is still scoping out. They're building it. But what you can do is you can use the thesaurus to build your search terms from the thesaurus. So in Masterfile, you're going to have each database has different thesauri. So each database is going to have its own thesaurus to choose from, and you can then start to do your search here. So if we did that, nano, let's do that. And I just want to say search term begins with, then this is how I can search my thesaurus. And maybe then I do want to build my search term, kind of shows me the broader terms of my nano art, shows me the narrower terms. Maybe I just want to go ahead and focus on that. And I'm going to then add that to my search. And then this is how we're building a search using the subjects from the thesauri. And of course, I don't think I would use change management with that. But I might go ahead and do that search. And then I've taken that, the subject searching, and then being able to build it there. And I'm only searching one database. So I think that's what I think too. So I think if you go into searching your one and then click on it, here is where you can then manage to search all. Or kind of go in and out. Same that you can do now, where you can, even if you search one, a lot of times you can go up to the top by the search box and then pull in additional resources if you want, or remove additional resources. So hopefully that helps. So let me just show you something a little different here. And let me see if I can kind of cheat the system here and go back. use the back button. If it doesn't like me, I'm going to have to log back in again. Let's do one search in one of your reference centers. Here we go. So remember that what I said, your reference centers from here, anything on here. So your business, let me see the reference centers you have. So legal, let's go down to the L's. That's kind of the first one. So these Exploras are all in the new user interface, okay? All of them. Then the legal information history reference center is new. Legal information reference center is using the new interface. Literary is coming. Science reference center is using the new. Small business reference center is using the new. So I'm not going to go into all of these. If you want me to go into one of these separately, please let me know. I'll go ahead and choose science. And just to give you an idea of what that looks like. So science reference center. The only difference with the Exploras and the science reference centers, kind of as far as the interface itself goes, is you're getting kind of a beginning splash page, and then you have a topic explorer. So it's a little more browsable friendly, but you're getting the same kind of tools over here. You're getting the same filters once you do a search. And remember, these reference centers are more specialized versions of your, of specialized areas of your library. So for here, if I had a student that needed some help, I'm just going to do a search on black holes. In the reference centers and in the Exploras, I get similar to what I get in the Inspire search, which is that topic overview. It's kind of assuming that you might need a little bit of help with just the general information about my topic. If you don't, then you can go ahead and scroll down. You don't need to click into that. You have a lot of really great ebooks, and these are all available in your Exploras and individually through your EBSCOhost, and of course your Inspire search. So I have options for ebooks. I have options for different magazines and journals. And then remember, in a lot of these Exploras, we may need to be using this Lexile limiter range, which is just a reading filter. So I may want to then invoke that so that I'm getting, not getting things that are at a higher reading level, so that I'm getting things that are at a lower reading level. And remember, this isn't necessarily content. It's just the range that it's written for, or, the age range, but it's not necessarily taking content into account. So if I did want to lower this, let's say, if I'm not using Lexiles officially, then I can just kind of know that the lowest number is going to be beginning readers, right? The next numbers are going to be then, so this is going to be probably first grade, kindergarten, first grade. And then I'm kind of moving up from there. So very low elementary school, mid to, kind of starting point of middle school. And then as I go into the higher levels or higher numbers, I'm getting more to adult level reading. So if I did grab this, it's going to be more mid. And so now I've quickly taken, remember, I'm only searching one database, Science Reference Center. I did my search term of black holes. I did my filter of the reading level of that very low reading level. And now I'm getting things from Muse magazine, from, there's my New Scientist, Science News for Students. So I have that option there. So any other, I see a lot going on in the chat. I'm going to stop for a minute. Anything else that you need me to answer, then Paula, or any other interface that you wanted me to explore, go into?
I don't think so. Someone had a question about, we have to do Access Indiana. They have to sign up for that first, and then they can sign up for their EBSCO account to save information on their Inspire folder. Sorry, a lot of terms that aren't I probably didn't say that quite right. So yes, and another question, someone asked, some of the databases have not switched over.
So are you looking at that from your website or from the Inspire website?
Let's see, that was from Jacqueline, Inspire.
Yeah, so if you haven't seen, so the only ones that shouldn't be in the new are the ones that I pointed out, which was Biography Reference Center, Literary Reference Center, and Points of View. So if you're saying, yeah, so if there's others that are not switched over, then we can make sure those are, that would have been a mistake. And if you're saying, yeah, so we can look, if you're saying this link to academic search, and I think a lot of times too, well, it depends on where you're coming from. A lot of times these will switch over to not, the Inspire. So I'd like to know, like maybe we can do some research with that with Paula to make sure that it's not your version that's not switched, that the Inspire version is switched. I don't know if now we're really getting confused here. Sometimes if I'm sitting at a public library and I click, am I going through the Inspire databases page and I click on academic search, EBSCO will say, well, I know you're from Inspire, but oh, hey, you're from this public library. So I'm going to show you your version of it. That's why you can get some of those differences. And then I think, yeah, whatever Paula said about the Access Indiana account. So any other, I'm kind of looking, just to let me know, Paula, if you need me to answer any of the questions, or if someone does want to look at any of those other updated interfaces, we can do that.
Okay, yeah, right now, I think maybe if you have extra questions about the Access Indiana and EBSCO, just send an email to me and I'll see if I can help you out. So we'll go ahead and have Lisa go show other things, or do you have more to show on the changes?
Yeah, well, I'm going to show where if I go to connect.ebsco.com that I can look for additional promotional items for any of your updated interfaces. I just did, and this is some of the links that we'll share, but I just went on Connect and hit promotion kits, and I can see there was a question on there that said, where can I find? So any of the items that we're talking about, so your Exploras, any of the individual history reference center or the legal information reference center, those science reference center, there's lots of help there, and lots of promotion kits. And even if I click on that, you're going to see a lot of things, maybe a customizable bookmark, a scavenger hunt, promotional text, and even lesson plans. So any of these you can use and then kind of make your own. And I just did that by going to Connect and then typing in promotion kits is what I did. That's all I need to know. And then I saw, I saw individual promotion kits. So if I want to explore, that's fine. But what I really clicked on was this one. And that's the one that listed out all of those then. Another thing is new EBSCOhost. And I'm looking for the quick start guide. Let me put that, there we go. And this is another link that we'll share, but just to let you know, information about general search, advanced search, applying filters, using the bookmark, using the site, sharing articles, all of these things are available and helpful so that you can take this URL here, send it out to your librarians that are on the floor, your reference librarians or your instructional librarians, faculty members, whoever, instructors that you want to share this with, and this is a no login site, but they'll be able to then go through and kind of get their own questions answered or, you can definitely use this as you're trying to answer questions.
So we do have a couple more questions now. One is, does EBSCO have video guides we can link to? So no doubt you'll probably show those if you have them. And the other question was, our library's Inspire is not updated to the new format. How do we go about doing that? Maybe you could start on that one first.
Okay, so what happened last week was the majority of public schools and the majority of public libraries, all of their interfaces were up, where the switch was flipped last week. Okay, along with this Inspire site. If you find that you're on your website, not this site, but on your website, and you're getting still links to Classic that you want to update to new, you can definitely contact support, which is also through the Connect site. And you can just say, please, I would like to move over to the new user interface. Okay, and that would be for EBSCOhost or for your Inspire search, which is called Discovery. I think that's how you can get it moved to new. So the majority of it should be moved to new already. But let me go ahead and put this. Someone's asking for this. But if not for you, then you can get it moved. Okay, so someone asked for the EBSCOhost Connect link. For the new EBSCOhost, and you can kind of do the same thing because you asked about videos. Let me look for the quick start guide here, because this one definitely has information. I'll put this one in the chat too. This one has information, and this is for your Inspire search, which is different. It has different options. But here is the video to quick start guide, and to concept map and the quick start guide. The video to the publication finder, which is your title level searching tool. And then you have video tutorials for all three. This would be your Inspire search, concept map, and then the tutorial there. So I will help you put that in the chat too for everybody. And I'll share those with you, Paula, too, for the follow-up for everyone. But it seemed like some of you wanted to dive right in.
So another person asked, where do we find quote Connect? For some reason, I don't see it on the homepage.
Yeah, so it's just, so this is an EBSCO resource, and it's just connect.ebsco.com. That's the URL. You don't, your administrators, your library administrators should have access to this. This is where they talk to support, directly. They create cases, they have a sign in. But for you all, notice I'm not signed in and I'm getting to all of those help documents. So you won't have to have a sign in unless you do want to talk to support. And then you can create your, if you haven't already done so.
One other question. Someone said that they emailed themselves an article, but it did not give the option to include citation with the new format. So the article came up, but no citation.
Let me see here. So if I go into the article, I'm actually just going to share that here. Email, where currently we do have the option or in the classic interfaces, you do have the option to choose the format, right, of citation. So remember I said that a lot of times some of these things are still being developed. If you see something like this is important. If you see something like this, please go ahead and note that. You can either send it through, I'm just going to say, I don't think Inspire, or the like Paula and your group and the tech team there. I think maybe you should maybe send it through John, through the tech team. What do you think? And then John can forward it from Inspire to the support people. Yeah, Paula's putting that in. So I would say anything, remember, these are brand new. They've been in use for a while, especially your Inspire search has been in use for at least 2 years out there in the wild, but they are still being developed too. And they were developed from scratch. And so it's not 100% parity from classic to new. So when you see something, you say, hey, I really need that email and the ability to add the citation in the email. So, there's lots of new things with the citation, like being able to quickly copy it to clipboard, pick out your citation that you want and then copy, export the citation. But you're right, as far as choosing the format of citation and emailing, that's something I would put in for an enhancement request is what you're asking for. And then thanks, I see people are also figuring out, remember, these are quick filters. If you don't see what you need, go to the all filters, because this only shows you the first 3 things. But when I go to the all filters, as far as the date goes, I do have my option for custom. So maybe I want the last 30 days. It's a hot topic. A lot of people are writing things and being published. So you can see here, all filters are the full filters that you have available for this specific result list. Every time I do a new search, I have different filters that are going to show because I have a different result list. I have different source, I don't only have these 5 source types, I have multiple source types once I go in and view all of them available to me. So there's my primary source documents. That's what I'm looking for. So quick and all. Thanks, Paula. Paula put in the LEU form for everybody. And then if you all do want to have kind of a part 2 of the, let Paula know kind of what your training needs are as far as EBSCO goes, and we can go deeper. And then if you do have, I am a trainer for EBSCO, and Indiana is my state. So if you have specific individual needs where you might want to meet even one-on-one that I can help you with, then I think we've done this in the past too, Paula, when I've been training. Then Paula can feel free. I mean, I can put my email in the chat if you would like.
Oh, I just did.
Okay. You sure did. Yeah. So again, this is what I do. So we can, for those of you that said, hey, I have different links and I want to go to new, and what else would I need to think about, and what's going on with my website? That's the kind of, that's what I can help you with. And then we can kind of get it fixed before summer's over.
Yeah, and I think with any change, sometimes it's like she was saying, it's not necessarily they haven't updated everything. Things may not quite look right or the same, or you might not be able to find it. And we're also at the same time, we're just now seeing it as well. So we don't have all the answers yet. So
yeah, thanks, Paula, because that's how I feel too, and it's just like, I'm like, well, the trainers are supposed to be the specialists for everything, but you all kind of saw, well, like, hold on a minute, let's poke around and see where that is. So if you poke around and don't find it, then definitely ask us and we will get the answer. Thanks, Paula, so much. And thanks to your team for helping everyone and Inspire. You all make my job a lot easier too.
Yeah, it definitely does look very nice, streamlined, and yeah, just let us know if you can't find something. Either go through our Inspire desk, which again is at the very bottom of the main page, or if it's EBSCO specific, you can check with Lisa Jones. It's not Inspire's not easy because it has so many moving parts and it has so many things in it. Plus all of our libraries are all unique and different. So yeah, so that was a really, I'm gonna say, a quick overview. The hour went really fast. We may not have gotten everybody's questions answered exactly, but like I said, we'll go back through the chat, and when I send you information, you can add, if you find more questions, go ahead and send it to me and we'll compile them and I'll see what, send it out to everybody. So at this point, I want to say thank you so much to Lisa for helping us with this today. And also for everyone for being here today, and also all of your questions. And just putting this on as a reminder, if you are watching this as an archived recording of this presentation, information on how to obtain your LEU will be in the video's description in YouTube.